In this video, we will talk about what drives the evolution and why natural selection is so important and how it leads to some fundamental concepts of evolution. So natural selection is the process that drives the evolution. Natural selection, or we can say artificial selection, depending on whether it's nature is the selector or we as humans. This is a process, the selection, where the favorable traits are kept in the population and in the offsprings. Artificial selection is an example what the textbook brings up: the broccoli, the Brussels sprouts, the cabbage, how humans had the common ancestors of these vegetables, and they started to use artificial selection to have broccoli, now cabbages, different cabbages, and the Brussels sprouts. Natural selection is as like not a given trait that is so perfect for the environment. For example, an organism with favorable inherited traits would survive. Let's think about some bugs and the green background. We have the green and the brown bugs. Well, if there's a bird, a predator, definitely the green can camouflage in the grassy area, but the brown ones are going to be eaten by the bird. So the green survive, and the allele frequency for the green, for that color, will increase in the population. But don't think that the green is always the favorable trait, because if we are at the sandy surface, we have the brown and the green bugs. At this point, at that environment, the green is the less favorable and the brown will survive. So the favorable traits, as conclusion, the favorable traits in the population eventually will increase. In a sandy environment, the allele for the brown color, or in the grassy area, the green color. So the natural selection or artificial selection leads to biodiversity, or diversity of life, biodiversity, and also it leads to adaptation. The adaptation, how the organisms, it's not their will, or it's not they want to adapt. It's kind of a mechanism that the organisms adapt to their specific environment. Different traits let organisms survive and reproduce with different traits. The more fit the organism is in its environment, the more it can pass on its genes to more offsprings. It can pass on its genes. So the favorable traits in the population for that trait will increase, or the allele frequency will increase for that trait. Now, the next question, the last question is, why natural selection? Why is that really drives the evolution? Now, natural selection, because organisms contain different inherited traits. So it's not only one allele for different traits. And more so number one is different inherited traits for different organisms, and the second one is the limited resources in a population or in the biosphere. More offsprings than can survive because of the limited resources. This was the realization of Malthus, and organisms must compete for resources, and that leads to that is really the natural selection. And